Comprehensive reform and the determination to combat all forms of corruption were the two main drivers behind forming the Royal Committee to enhance the national integrity system. Under the directives of His Majesty King Abdullah II, a panel of experienced figures reputed for having a high degree of integrity, impartiality, and neutrality was formulated. The panel worked together in cooperation with all sectors, including civil society institutions and citizens themselves, to draft the National Integrity Charter, which serves as an integrated reform manual that ushers a new stage whereby public confidence in all state agencies is enhanced and all share responsibility. Preparation work on the charter began immediately. Phase 1 saw 22 meetings which brought together the chiefs of oversight agencies and regulatory authorities in order to examine and diagnose the problems and challenges they face. These meetings resulted in the first version of the National Integrity Charter and its executive plan. In implementation of the royal directives, the committee commenced to Phase 2, which resulted in 17 consultative meetings over 30 days. During these meetings, the committee heard the views and ideas of public and official figures, as well as an array of opinion leaders and representatives of all segments of society in the country's 12 governments, including universities, political parties, trade unions, political forces, members of the lower house and the Senate, and senior officials in the government apparatus. The committee proceeded to incorporate those ideas and suggestions into the National Integrity Charter and Executive Plan, resulting in the second version. Following that, the Charter and the Executive Plan were posted in print and electronic media to attract citizens' feedback via a designated email address and a fax number. In implementation of the royal directives to reach an advanced level of national consensus, a conference was held to draft the final version of the charter based on additional discussions and approving the comments and suggestions received from citizens and participants. The envisioned outcome was a national charter that promotes an integrated system of integrity to protect the country and preserve its assets and the rights of its citizens. The National Integrity System is based on a set of interrelated pillars: the rule of law and law enforcement applied equally and without discrimination, complementary work of the three constitutional powers on the one hand, and between those powers and civil society institutions, the media, and agencies functioning under the same branch of government, in addition to flexible separation and balance of power between the governing branches of state. Furthermore, the system acknowledges the need to guarantee freedom of expression and participation in the decision-making process. It should be known to all that state institutions are public assets which belong to all individuals and not with any particular group. Additionally, among the integrity pillars lay citizens' rights, who are to be kept abreast regarding the performance of public institutions. These agencies are created to serve citizens, and thus their performance must remain under scrutiny to ensure that they serve the purposes for which they were created. It should be emphasized that accountability is an essential right to hold wrongdoers among those who hold public posts responsible. Finally, the National Integrity System holds that there should be equal opportunities and justice for all citizens. The committee also identified the components on which the pillars of integrity will be built upon in various sectors. These components include legislation, which should be comprehensive, advanced, and clear in order to be helpful in fighting corruption by criminalizing all its forms. There's also the organizational structure of institutions, which constitutes the basic requirement to prevent defects in the integrity system, a goal that can only be achieved through a high degree of transparency and justice. Another component is enhancing the institutional and functional capacity of institutions by furbishing them with qualified personnel and financial resources. This would boost their ability to perform their duties and ensure simplified, clear, impartial, and fair procedures that meet the needs of society. The final component is a prevalent culture. There is a need to focus on enhancing professional, functional, and ethical conduct of employees to establish a deep-rooted culture that reflects positively in their behavior and performance. Based on these components and through a nationwide participatory effort that continued for a whole year, the pillars of integrity were identified to conform to the needs of modernization and reform requirements of each sector to achieve integrity in a holistic sense, starting from the executive power to the legislative and judicial branches, the private sector, along with political parties, non-governmental bodies, civil society institutions, and the media. In response to the royal directives, a comprehensive executive plan was drawn up, covering 20 aspects and identifying parties responsible for implementation and setting a fixed timetable. It should be emphasized that all these relentless and intensified efforts, carried out in consensus among the entire spectrum of society, requires cooperation from all Jordanians. It is a collective responsibility to achieve a collective goal and score a collective success. Today, under a royal patronage, the National Integrity Charter and Executive Plan will be launched, representing a fresh start for all of us to renew our confidence in our national institutions for the sake of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan's renaissance and advancement.